Hello, fellow Whovians. My name is David Chapman. I am your host today on The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Christian had a heck of a weekend, which he will tell us about in a few moments. But he's, of course, not who we're here to talk to specifically today. Today, we've got an amazing guest. Last week, we reviewed his Big Finish audio, Juggernauts. So today, we're going to be talking to Scott Allen Woodard.
Hello. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Thank you so much for bringing me on.
Well, thank you for being here.
Everybody gave a great review. Everybody gave a great review of the Juggernauts. So I think we were happy about that.
I'm sure. I mean, I tend to avoid negative reviews of anything that I've created. I think most writers do that just out of for health reasons, mental health reasons. But yeah, no, I'm sure it's always fair, and I do appreciate any comments that come my way.
Do you
we
try
had a lot of good ones.
Do you try to just stay away from reviews completely? Like, you know what? I don't want to know. It's out. I made my little baby. It's out in the world. Don't let it be good so I get more work, but I don't want to know anything about it.
Yeah, I do tend to avoid them unless somebody highlights one. You know, a lot of times somebody will send something along and say, "Hey, you got a really nice review here." And
okay.
So I kind of let the social media filter that stuff out for me. But I mean, there's stuff that I've written even with Big Finish that I've never even heard. So.
Ooh.
That's all
we're gonna do.
No, that's fair. That's
what we need to do. I brought up like the Goodreads page, and it just keeps going, and it is nowhere near exhaustive. But just for Big Finish, because we were on that, you had, and we weren't sure about this when we were talking last week. You did 3 Doctor Who's for Big Finish.
3, yeah. Well, I mean, Darvos counts, right? So it's not technically Doctor Who, but obviously it's in the same universe, but it doesn't have the Doctor Who logo on it per se. But
you are one of 5 Americans to have written basically official Doctor Who scripts. Yes, audio, but nevertheless still official.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of a weird thing. So do you want me to go back into the annals of history? What this is? Okay.
Yes.
I always have to make sure I pronounce that word correctly. So.
Exactly.
No, so I mean, it's honestly, so what happened was I moved out to LA in the early 90s and started attending Gallifrey 1 very, very early on. And some years later, I became friends with Gary Russell. I'm sure some of you know who that guy is. So Gary and I became fast friends, and we used to interact at the convention a lot at Gallifrey 1. And he also knew at the time that I was working for Warner Brothers as a writer-producer. I was actually one of the people who launched Kids WB. So some of you, I'm sure, watched it when you were younger. So I worked there. I remember being in my office. We had obviously exchanged phone numbers. Phone rang. I picked it up. He said, "Hi, Scott, it's Gary. How you doing?" I said, "I'm doing great. Just working on some Batman stuff right now," which of course thrilled him to no end. Huge Batman fan. And then he said, "Would you be interested in writing a Doctor Who for us?" So I picked the phone up off the floor and proceeded to say, "Absolutely, I would love to." Now, of course, at that time, I mean, Juggernauts I think was number 65 if I remember right in the series, and so at that time, they had sort of done a lot of exploration and brought in all new characters and new settings and all sorts of crazy new stuff. And I thought that's what the direction would be where we would go. But he then said, "Okay, well, we have a bit of a laundry list. And so what I'd like is a Dalek story with Darvos and the Sixth Doctor and Mel and the Mechanoids, if you could throw those guys in too." So, of course, I'm thinking, okay, first-time Big Finish writer, and you're giving me the friggin' Daleks? Okay. So, of course, I said yes. And that's how that all came together. And then as soon as I found out when they were going to record, I booked a ticket and flew over to London and was there for the session. And that was a blast. And it was really funny because, as you said, there were only a few Americans who have written Big Finish audios. And one of the other ones was actually in the studio at the time. And they were recording one of his audios. So we walk in, and of course, we're the only 2 Americans, probably for miles. And we're chatting about, writing for Doctor Who, and Colin is there. And I remember one of the most wonderful things that Colin said to me at the time was that he was delighted to meet me, but he was really surprised I was an American, except for one word that was in my script, and that was the word "gotten," which I had tossed in there somewhere that you're saying instead of, for some reason, they apparently don't say gotten. So that was the only one that was a bit of a giveaway. And I will never forget being in the studio when Terry started reading those lines, the lines that I had written. And of course, they processed the voice live. So immediately I hear Darvos reading my script. And just talking about it right now, I'm getting goosebumps, I swear. And I teared up a little bit. I actually got super emotional because I thought, I'd been a Doctor Who fan since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And now here I was in London with Terry Molloy reading my lines. It was crazy.
I'm just amazed that it was like an episode of Chopped where they literally just gave you a box and went, here you go, here's your ingredients, make this. And you're kind of like, and how much time do I have my deadline? You need to do this. Oh, and here's the secret ingredient. Bam.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Terry Molloy.
Oh, and also do a Meganoid.
You guys have had Terry on, right? I mean, he is like one of the nicest people I've ever had the pleasure of working with.
So I'm sorry, I had to walk away for a second there. How do you get the gig? How did this all start?
I just did it.
I told you. I'm sorry.
Rewind 10 minutes.
If you didn't know,
I've been waiting to do this the entire show.
There you go.
Thank you. Now that's
moving on.
I'm your host, Christian Basil. What the?
Hey, Christian, you should go back and watch the show.
The commercial breaks are for Christian. That's when I went and grabbed that one.
Well, I'm running the commercials here, so I'm just
okay, fine.
I'll sum up. Was at Gallifrey 1. Became very good friends with Gary Russell. He offered me the job.
Boom. Yes, there we go. He almost made it a haiku for you.
Permit me to ask, if I may, in regards to writing Darvos, did you have the chance, the opportunity to speak about the depths of his character or what he wanted to present, or saying something along the lines of Darvos would never do that?
Yeah, well, I mean, in regards to Juggernauts, it was a little bit more hands off. But when we were doing Davros for hands off. Oh god. Okay, we could just move past that joke. That was not intentional, I swear. I swear. Okay, anyway.
I've always heard that phrase. It's like, no pun intended, no pun intended. I'm one of those, like, if I can get a pun out of that, it's intended.
I'm not going to claim that one. No, but in regards to Davros, we did get a document that Terry wrote. And it really went into the depths of Davros's background as far as he was concerned, and why Darvos is the way that he is, and why he behaves the way that he does. Yeah. And that was a fascinating look into the character that we all took on board, all four of us, when we were writing the play. And what was really, really fascinating too, and this goes way back to when we had like Yahoo groups. I mean, this is the early days of social media and internet.
Was there a dial-up connection in here, sir?
There was not a dial-up involved, but we were all in Yahoo groups, all the writers, and we would post ideas and bits of dialogue and snippets of our scripts, and so everybody was aware of what each one was doing for the entire storyline, because it's considered more or less one storyline. But I mean, Terry was great. He just gave us so much direction that came from a place where obviously we had no access. So that was great.
Cool.
We're all just laughing, enjoying the cat.
Oh,
let's hold on. We're gonna go like this.
Mine are all sleeping right now.
Oh, now the cat's gone.
Here she is. Here's the idiot. She's going right behind. She goes. She's so tiny. She's underneath my camera, except for that tail where she just keeps moving the microphone.
That's great.
I've had many interviews where the tail has gone back and forth.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Legend of the Traveling Kitty Cat.
Luna.
In fact, Melanie's going to be replaced by the cat. We're just going to have the cat.
Oh no, we have a commercial. She's going out that door.
Oh, okay.
Someday when I have enough time to actually catch up on our bits of the TARDIS thing, I'm going to do like a highlight reel of us and the cats.
Yeah.
Inevitably, one of us ends with a cat.
Sorry, I'm still having a convention hangover at this moment.
Wake up.